for replay of qualifier.
Omicron variant now detected in 40 countries. Good evening and thanks for joining us for News Hour. We are live on GTV, GBC News and streaming on Facebook and YouTube. My name is Clara Milano.
I am Shirley Annan. Good evening.
At the 37th edition of the Farmers' Day celebration held in Cape Coast, a 44-year-old Alhaji Mashood Mohammed from Mion district in the northern region was adjudged the national best farmer for 2021.
He received 600,000 Ghana cedis from ADB and a 500,000 cedis insurance package from Glyco. This year's celebration had a theme, planting for food and jobs, consolidating food systems in Ghana.
The awards program was instituted to reward the nation's hard-working and gallant farmers and fishers for their contributions to the nation's food security. At this year's event, a total of 165 gallant farmers and fishers across the country were rewarded for their efforts in sustaining the economy through the production of food and cash crops, as well as fish over the period. The first runner-up went to Mr. Suleiman Ayidana from East Mamprushi district in the northeast region. He received a tractor trailer, 300,000 Ghana cedis insurance cover and a trip to Israel, whilst Reverend Samuel Sida from Esutifi North district of the Ahafo region emerged the second runner-up. He also received a Nizam pickup and 200,000 Ghana cedis insurance cover. Alhaji Mohammed Mashood from the northern region was crowned the national best farmer for 2021. Alhaji Mashood takes away 600,000 Ghana cedis cash prize and a 500,000 Ghana cedi insurance cover. The Minister for Agriculture, Dr. Usue Akoto, said government is building robust, resilient and equitable systems which can withstand shocks in the agricultural sector. He said climate change, the COVID-19 pandemic and frequent outbreaks of animal diseases are some challenges that constantly threatens national food security. The Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Madam Hawa Kumsin, said from next year, the ministry will institute the National Fish Festival to commemorate the celebration of National Fisheries Day. The President, Nana Akufo-Addo, announced the construction of more warehouses to store the expected increase in production of grains to reduce post-harvest losses. He said Cabinet has given approval to recruit an additional 1,100 veterinary officers to augment the strength of the existing number of practicing officers.
The one village, one dam policy to increase water availability for all year production and the one district, one factory initiative to promote rural industrialization have all contributed to the success since chalked in the agriculture sector. The record is impressive. We have, through the program, achieved a yearly average growth of agriculture of 5.8% from 2017 to 2020, compared to the 2.7% growth we inherited in 2016. Cabinet has granted approval for the procurement of a research vessel and 4 patrol boats for the fisheries sector. The acquisition of a research vessel will facilitate regular fisheries research and stock assessment that will amplify data availability for strategies for science-based fisheries management.
We're now bringing some regional reports on how the Farmers' Day was celebrated.
West region, 36-year-old farmer from Behi, Mr. Isahaku Tungwani, was adjudged the 2021 Municipal Best Farmer for the Wa municipality. He emerged first out of 26 other farmers shortlisted for the award. He took home a tricycle donated by the Wa Municipal Assembly and a king-size bed and mattress donated by Latex Foam. Other award winners received bicycles, sprayers, cutlasses and Wellington boots. There were special awards for women groups who performed well in the agricultural sector. The municipal best farmer, Mr. Isahaku Tungbani, has a total of 90 acres of various crops. He attributed his award to good agronomic practices. The WA Municipal Chief Executive, Alhaji Tahir Mumin, commended the farmers for working hard to improve on food production in spite of the challenges. In the Adansi North District of the Ashanti region, farmers displayed a wide range of farm produce. Mr. Kojo Afuakwa from Kusa was adjudged the best farmer. He was presented with a citation, tricycles, spraying machines, cloth, cutlasses, knapsack, among other farm equipment. The DC, Mr. Eric Kusi, disclosed that government initiatives such as planting for export and rural development in the Adansi North District has distributed 152,000 oil palm seedlings to farmers with support from the Minerals Development Fund and 1 million cocoa seedlings to farmers across the districts. From the Talensi district in the Upper East region, correspondent Samuel Ayama reports that Mr. Bukari Tahiru from Shega emerged overall best farmer in the districts. Mr. Tahiru took home an Abstonic motor tricycle, 3 pairs of Wellington boots, 7 cutlasses, 1 knapsack sprayer and a certificate. The first runner-up and the second runner-up went to Mr. Anafu Ayeni from Polugu and Mr. Ayamga Alangtara, also from Goriko, Winkongo, respectively. The Talensi District Director of MUFA, Mr. Matthew Sulemana, said under the Planting for Export and Rural Development, 7,970 cashew seedlings were distributed to 133 farmers, comprising 99 males and 34 females. He said under the Planting for Food and Jobs, 536 farmers benefited from the flagship policy. Agriculture contributes at least 20% to 30% of revenue to the country's socio-economic fronts. The import and export business generates an income for many households and allows the economic industry to thrive. However, issues such as climate change have had a negative impact on the industry. The agricultural industry faced similar challenges during the early 1980s, but farmers fought hard to grow it, which led to the observance of Ghana's Farmers' Day. We'll bring you some facts about Farmers' Day.
It's a day to recognize and award the hard work of farmers and fishermen. The first National Farmers' Day was instituted in 1985 under the Provisional National Defense Council (PNDC) administration. The day came as a result of the 30% record growth in agriculture the year before. The country suffered from severe droughts in the early 1980s, which impacted crop yields. Ghana, which was largely dependent on farmers to feed the nation, faced starvation and malnutrition. On the economic front, the country's GDP also suffered immensely. However, the drought ended in 1984 and the country slowly recovered, recording an impressive 30% growth in farming. The fisheries subsector also flourished. In order to recognize the hard work of all Ghanaian farmers and fishermen, the government decided to hold a Farmers' Day every first Friday of December. During election years, the day is moved to the first Friday of November. The first National Farmers' Day was held at Osino in the Eastern region. Osino was chosen as the prime location because it had been affected by drought most severely. Subsequently, following years have seen celebrations held at other locations, giving room to regional rotations. On the day, several activities take place throughout the day, and one of the most notable is the award ceremony that recognizes the best farmers and fishermen. Judges note and follow all identified participants' progress throughout the year. The judging categories include technological use, husbandry, record keeping, and ecological awareness. In the maiden edition, the winning farmer was awarded a radio set, Wellington boots, and machetes. As the years passed, the awards grew in value to a check of 570,000 Ghana cedis, and one of the most expensive being a 3-bedroom house. Though farming may have begun since the existence of man, it is said that nomadic tribes started farming for the first time around 10,000 BC, beginning the first agricultural revolution. Since then, the agricultural industry has become the largest employer in the world, with about 257,454 millennial farmers in the United States of America alone. Now, with growing population and needs, farmers worldwide would have to produce at least 70% more food by 2050 in order to feed the growing population. Currently, a single farmer with the right set of equipment can feed about 155 people with his produce. The agricultural industry is one of the most important assets of any country. In fact, it wouldn't be wrong to say that many countries' backbone is made up of agriculture. It feeds the locals whilst bringing in revenue from exports. For Ghana, the day may well be the celebration of overcoming difficulties. The 1980s drought may have had the potential to destroy Ghana's agricultural sector, but our farmers did not give up, but continued to work hard in the hopes of a better tomorrow. Difficulties will come and go, but the winners will always remain.
As the nation celebrates her farmers, the Navrongo chapter of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana is calling on government to put into action its request for some support captured in the 2022 budget. They want government to, among other things, release funds for projects including a multi-purpose dam. The farmers made these requests at a forum in Navrongo in the Upper East region.
The peasant farmers, drawn from the various zonal areas in the Kassina-Nankana East and Kassina-Nankana West municipalities, commended government for the Planting for Food and Jobs program. They, however, expressed concern that smuggling, hoarding and corruption continue to be the major impediment to the implementation of the government's fertilizer subsidy program for smallholder farmers. They realized that although smallholder farmers were the target of the subsidized fertilizers, it was difficult for them to access the product. The scarcity made the supposed subsidized fertilizer more expensive for farmers. They attributed the situation to lack of enforcement of the regulation regarding the maximum quantity of fertilizer each farmer can purchase.
Peasant farmers is appealing with the assembly and the government for us to have direct allocation of fertilizer to the association, so that when it comes direct to us, now that we are well established and we are electing our various executives, then we can monitor the fertilizer and get it to our farmers instead of giving it out where most occasions they smuggle them out of the country.
The head of programs and advocacy at the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Dr. Charles Nyaba, said irrespective of the efforts government is making to support the farmers, they are often left out in decision making. This forum was a platform expected to connect the farmers to their local leaders, including their members of parliament and district chief executives. He called on government to make funds available for the execution of projects like the Kwalugu multi-purpose dam.
You realize this year most of the recommendations that we made to the Ministry of Finance were captured in the budget. But capturing them in the budget is not enough. We are calling on government to just draw their attention that we are aware of their efforts to improve agricultural activities. We want to see government through commitment in terms of putting money to address those things. And when that is done, we will all say hallelujah to the government.
The Municipal Coordinating Director of the Kassina-Nankana Municipal Assembly, Mr. Isaac Abraima Basintali, assured the farmers of the Assembly's readiness to work closely with them.
In the Upper West region, rice farmers at Nakori in the Wa municipality say access to tractor services during farming seasons is a major problem. They say tractor service providers are unwilling to plow their farmlands in time, even at a fee which eventually affects their output. The farmers are therefore appealing to the government to speed up the establishment of its mechanization centers to make tractor services available to them. Many farmers at Nakori in the Upper West region are into maize, rice and groundnuts farming. They are mainly smallholder farmers cultivating between 2 and 15 acres of land. According to them, their major problem is the lack of access to tractor services during the farming season. 68-year-old farmer Chief Adam Ahmed said for 2 months he has not been able to find a tractor service for his farm.
Farming is our work. We have nothing to do apart from farming. If we don't have your best friend to contact him, you don't get tractor. You don't get tractor. You can handle your money. Going to 2 months, chasing for a tractor owner, but you don't get, please. I'm telling you, government will do something about it. Because tractor could have been the first before he bring the food and job program. Tractor, for me, the main problem. Before the food and job can be.
Chief Ahmed said though the Planting for Food and Jobs initiative has been helpful, access to fertilizer this year was very difficult.
What are difficult for us to get this year there? Last year no, to get fertilizer, but this year no. It's difficult for us to get fertilizer. I don't know the person I will give the blame to. Whether the government or we that pay the farmers. Because of the smuggling, I can't tell.
The farmers have appealed to government to provide tractors to the agricultural offices at the municipal and district assemblies that smallholder farmers can fall on during the planting seasons.
You see how you go to our farmers. Moving away from that story, the NDC caucus in Parliament says it will continue to use every legitimate and lawful channel to disallow the 1.75% E-levy government is seeking to impose on the ordinary Ghanaian. A statement signed by the Minority Chief Whip, Mr. Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak, says, for the avoidance of doubt, the position of the NDC caucus in Parliament, right from the start of the 2022 budget debate, has been that the 1.75% E-levy the government is seeking to impose is regressive and for which reason it must be suspended. The Minority Caucus has vigorously championed this position in Parliament and in the media space to draw government's attention to its demands. Mr. Muntaka says subsequent to the rejection of the budget on November 26, 2021, government has sought to engage the NDC caucus in a series of discussions towards finding an amicable solutions to the impasse. He said that despite the good faith demonstrated by the NDC team, recognizing the importance of the budget to the economy, businesses and households, the government side outrightly rejected the proposal for a revision of the E-levy, leading to a breakdown of the discussions. The minority says it states unequivocally that no concrete decision or agreement has been reached between government and the NDC caucus in Parliament on this matter. The Minority Chief Whip said his side has no knowledge of the government's alleged concessions and also has no clear indication that government intends to actually consider any of the proposals that have come up. Under these circumstances, the minority says the NDC caucus will maintain its original position as stated earlier.
You're still watching Israel Live on GBC News, your news and governance channel. From January 2022, the Ghana Police Service says it will inspect the vaccination cards of all commercial drivers and motorbike riders to ensure that they have taken the COVID-19 vaccine jabs. Additionally, workers in all government institutions and health facilities will not be allowed into their workplaces if they do not show their vaccination certificates, while absence from work for this reason will deprive a worker of his or her salary. Also, students 15 years or above, as well as all teaching and non-teaching staff of secondary and tertiary institutions, are also expected to be vaccinated before the next academic year. Patrons and workers of all restaurants, stadia, beaches and nightclubs are also expected to be vaccinated mandatorily and show proof before entry into such places. The arrangements are part of a mandatory vaccination policy which started on December 1, 2021 and is to be enforced in January 2022 after the government had declared December a national vaccination month. The mandatory vaccination policy is expected to be expanded in phases to cover more groups based on information gathered from a pilot exercise. The Minister of Health, Mr. Kwekwajiman Menu, announced the modalities when he launched the National Vaccination Month in Accra. He said the declaration of December as National Vaccination Month was to enable people targeted under the mandatory vaccine policy as well as the entire population gets vaccinated before the policy enforcement begins in January 2022. The launch was on the theme, Protect Yourself, Protect Your Family and Get Vaccinated Now against COVID-19.
Now, the Ministry of Communications is to fast-track the digitalization agenda to transform the economy. In this connection, the ministry will create a single registry for all government of Ghana assets and services. An allocation has been made for the purpose in the 2022 budget under the Ghana Cares Bantampa program.
Digital technology and data revolution offer countries significant potential to increase public service efficiency, transparency and citizens' trust. This has become all the more critical as countries continue to reel under the COVID-19 pandemic. The digital transformation drive under the Ghana Cares Batampa program is one of the approaches being used by the government to mitigate the economic challenges created by COVID-19 and achieve recovery. At a workshop in Accra to deliberate on the implementation of the digital transformation drive, the Minister for Communication and Digitalization, Mrs. Eslawusu Ekufu, said the government is employing digital literacy to create a digital society where citizens not only have access to technology but also embrace it, utilize it confidently and effectively to connect with the world around them.
Let everyone who does not have a national ID card get one. Very soon, it will be difficult to transact any kind of business in this country without proof that you are either a Ghanaian citizen or a foreign national resident in this country. And if we link it up with our digital address systems and the various databases that we have a comprehensive picture of who is doing what where, and it will enable us to widen the tax net.
2 digital transformational leads from every ministry would be selected to work with the Ghana Cares team to track and synergize data collected. This will enhance the implementation of the digitization drive to transform the economy. For GBC News, Yaira Lawe reporting.
Ghana will co-host the world's biggest gathering of people with disabilities. Governments, international agencies, charities and business leaders, which will take place in February 2022 in Norway. The Global Disability Summit will address the needs of people with disabilities and ensure they are integrated into policies and laws. In this regard, a new campaign and petition calling on the government to make lasting commitments at the summit was launched on International Day of Persons with Disabilities. According to the Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations, this is an opportunity for governments and organizations to implement the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. They are appealing to the government to show leadership as co-host and make strong commitments backed by political will and relevant budgets. Specifically, they are calling on the government of Ghana to take immediate steps to meet the numerous unfulfilled commitments made during the 2018 summit.
The Minister for Energy, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, has assured residents in and around Kumasi that power will be restored in the next few weeks. He explained that the recent power interruptions are as a result of some collapsed transmission towers caused by a private telecommunication company. Dr. Opoku Prempeh gave the assurance when he called on the Asantehene Otumfuo at the Mensha Palace.
The Energy Minister's visit was to brief the Asantehene on the interruptions in power being experienced in the Greater Kumasi area. It was also his first official visit to the Mensha Palace since he was appointed Energy Minister. Dr. Opoku Prempeh indicated that there are short, medium to long-term interventions spearheaded by his ministry to find a lasting solution to the power challenges in Kumasi. He announced the establishment of another power generation enclave to improve supply reliability to the middle and northern parts of the country.
Eti mpanyinfoɔ de bae ɛde nsɛntwerɛfoɔ nkɔnante ɛhu nhyehyɛeɛ a yɛayɛ ɛne yɛɛyɛ ama santemam ne Ghana mam kanea nyinaa gyina kama ɛfiri aseɛ nnora ɛsɛ nne ne yɛnya akwan sɛ ɔsɛ yɛbɛkyea kurowura eti ɛnnɛ yɛbaeɛ a mede me mpanyinfoɔ ɛne yɛbɛkyerɛ nea kuroma wakwan a yɛakyea no na de ekosu okumaso no ni asantemam no madaladi kakra akyerɛ no na yasrɛ abokyerɛ ne mpaebɔ ni ahwɛ mo de atae chi am yɛsiesie am na yi.
Asantehene Otumfuo urged partners in the energy sector to expedite action to halt the energy crisis in the Ashanti region.
David, you know, Obafie or Quackwood in a canea for in any Nazunapuna, the dinner, Ben was in a Macaquam night. Not dear, I am a done, they would not have cancer. Who knows, said Caniano, and a muffin penny for a woman in us, woman in our membran near Maradicro. Yes, penny for never won't be yes, Berama, and near Martin in our Wombe Pesicania Yama, I Macaniana said Jinamaya.
Dr. Opoku Prempeh was accompanied by the board chairman of the Ghana Grid Company, Mr. Cabral Bleamiye, Chief Executive Officer of the ECG, Mr. Kwame Ajimambudu, Director of Hydrogen Generation Department of the Volta River Authority, Mr. Kenatha, and the Chief Director of the Ministry of Energy, Mr. Lawrence Apasi.
We have more news coming up in News Hour. Please stay.
The business segment brought to you by MTN and Whirlpool. The African Diaspora Development Institute has marshaled about 160 entrepreneurs from the diaspora to participate in the Wakanda One Expo to be held between December 2 and December 13 this year at Cape Coast. The Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the diaspora community say there is a need to bridge the Africa and the diaspora gap in investment and technology transfer to fully benefit from the opportunities of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area.
This moment is calling for collaboration. Collaboration between our brothers and sisters on the continent and those of us in the diaspora. Let's make no mistake about it. Africa, as it stands today, we don't have enough capacity to build the Africa we want. If I may use our beautiful country of Ghana, and I talk to my medical doctor friends that don't complain about the quality of healthcare, of the shortage or lack of access to healthcare in your country. Why? There are more Ghanaian doctors in New York City alone than in the entire country of Ghana. There are more Nigerian doctors in Los Angeles than in the entire country of Nigeria. How then do you expect healthcare to improve? The same is true in education, it's true in agriculture, it's true in IT, every sector, you name it.
The Chamber is collaborating with the African Diaspora Development Institute to help in the African Transformation Agenda. This is in line with ADDI's goal of taking Africa to the world and bringing the world to Africa. It is therefore not surprising that this collaboration exists between our two institutions to organize the maiden Wakanda One City of Return Trade Expo, to highlight the investment potentials in Ghana. It is also to introduce the African diaspora and Friends of Africa to the business community for business networks, support for women entrepreneurs and startups, and start with the establishment of the Wakanda City of Return in Asebu Kingdom in the central region of Ghana.
At the annual Economist Conference in Accra, an economist, Dr. Samuel Ankara, said when government's projected expenditure in a budget exceeds revenue, it is an indication that the spending plan for the particular year is flawed from the start. According to him, present and successive governments start each economic year on a flawed budget.
The budget per se hasn't got any issues, but like I said to you earlier on, I have a challenge with the E-levy. But most importantly, I mean, if you look at the budget itself, the total revenue is 100 billion, expected revenue, and then the expenditure is 137 billion. So even before they kick the first foot, they're looking to go out there and borrow money. That's serious to look into. So for me, I think there's a flaw from the fundamentals. And going forward, if you are spending money that you don't have, then you are putting the country, you continue to put the country in a hole or in a position where it will be very difficult to do anything outside bringing development to the nation. So that needs to be looked at critically going forward.
That's all for the business segment, brought to you by MTN and Whirlpool. The foreign news is next.